Hello, I'm John Furrier with theCUBE, host here in the New York Stock Exchange studio for theCUBE, of course, part of our NYSE Wired program and community. Of course, we've got our Palo Alto studio connecting Silicon Valley and Wall Street. A lot of activity going on, of course, in the tech scene right now. AI, everything, AI infrastructure is booming. This is part of our ACTAI Global series. We feature the leaders who are making it happen, the cultural shift. Mohammad Hasham is here, partner, West Region leader, CFO advisory at Capital Markets at CohnReznick. Mohammad, thanks for coming on. Good to see you.
Thank you, John.
The ACTAI Global Maui trip was in May, and we had a great time. And this is kind of a follow-up to that because the culture shift that's happening, I think, represents what Bill Ty and that community demonstrates, which is these micro communities are emerging, right, where you have distinct user groups coming together that have shared interests, shared tech, and ACTAI Global is one of the most premier elite leaders across all diverse cultures, men, women, artists, athletes, entrepreneurs. Everyone's kind of coming together around one common mission, which is kite surfing. And in Hawaii, there's no wind in the morning, so you have a kind of a meet-up group, and you talk about things. But what's being presented, it's kind of like a mini TED event, but it's really a culture of innovation. So it really kind of represents what we're seeing in the market. So you're kind of an expert. Mixture of expert series we have going on also fits in well with what you're doing. You're on the capital market side. You see the capital formation. These little groups, it doesn't take a lot of capital to get a startup going, but once they get escape velocity, the AI market is really showing that you can hit escape velocity very quick. And as we're on the dawn of superintelligence, AI is going to have huge impact as the infrastructure continues to get built out. We saw AMD taking a piece of OpenAI that sent AMD stock up 25%. You're seeing what NVIDIA is doing. You're starting to see what the hyperscalers are doing, AWS, Azure, Google, and Oracle. Again, these large-scale build-outs are bringing in a whole nother enablement. Now, the capital markets are frothy right now, so give us the update. What's going on?
Yeah, no, thanks. First of all, thanks, John, for having me at your studio. Really glad to be part of this. So in terms of the capital markets, I mean, we're seeing a lot of activity. As you saw, the last couple of years have been a little bit slowed down in terms of capital markets activity, and all of a sudden, we see the shift in IPOs going up. So not only the big, the big IPOs, but you can also see the shift in the smaller IPOs as well. So there's a lot of the SPAC activity. So I kind of focus more on the SPAC side, the mid-market IPOs as well. So all of it, from earlier this year, there has been a lot more of those transactions. For example, myself, I've been, more than a dozen IPOs that I'm working on personally. So we see this shift, and then this, again with this AI itself, this is also creating a lot of boom in this IPO space. So
what's interesting, Mohammed, is that you pointed out the SPACs. One of the things that we're seeing as part of our Crypto Trailblazer series is this first wave of IPOs has a very heavy crypto infrastructure, fintech, DeFi, TradFi kind of impact, and it's very entrepreneurial. It's very Silicon Valley-like,
right?
Where these are big businesses. I mean, they've already been operating given the political regime, so that wave of IPOs are coming in. And right behind it, Brian Bauman and I were talking about what we're seeing on his side, which is the AI companies are next. So you almost got this multiple waves of kind of crops, and then what we're seeing kind of way out there is that third wave of the AI impact, where the harvest comes in from the AI infrastructure, the AI platforms, and then a lot of these productivity or coding apps, you're going to start to see new things. There's almost like a three-wave coming. Now, AI and crypto kind of bounded by energy.
Right.
So, okay, that's a common thread. So there's threads between this crypto infrastructure, not like buy a meme coin. We're talking about like really hardcore, financial infrastructure.
Right.
So you got a lot of stuff going on. What's your reaction to that? Do you agree, or do you have commentary?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of see AI play into not only the tech industry, but you can also see other industries adopting AI. Right now, you get like healthcare industry, biotech, like whatever industry you see, is that AI boom right now. So we're just seeing anything attached to AI is becoming big, right? But I think there is kind of a bubble that we're going to see, whether this is going to prove out to be long-term or is going to be something like a short-term fad, right? So I believe right now it's kind of the AI, and then also you get the crypto
Yeah.
piece of it as well. Now all of a sudden, because of the crypto wave is also pretty big right now.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of companies that were kind of holding off to go public in the crypto space are now going public, right? So every kind of I would say that there is like a season for different type of companies and activity that happens. And right now I think it's the AI and the crypto.
Yeah, we've been covering, this is our 16th year with theCUBE, and we've been covering the data center, then moved to the cloud, obviously big data since Hadoop, now it's AI everything. Large scale data center build out is happening, but also small, medium-sized data centers are being built out, and there's an edge piece to it, hardware that's coming, that's AI enabled for, no one's talking about training, so that speaks to more headroom on the market. So what kind of deals are you working on right now? Can you share kind of day in the life of what you guys are doing over there, and what's the flow look like? What's the sentiment? Can you give us the scoop?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of my portfolio, I'm working on all mix of opportunities, but a lot in data center. There's in AI space, biotech companies. They're also going public, and then like I said, the SPAC boom is back. So I'm seeing a lot of those SPAC sponsors back in the market to kind of now their target is becoming more in the AI space or in the energy space or the crypto space. So the kind of the focus of the acquisition of those target companies has obviously shifted industries as well.
Yeah.
So my portfolio is kind of a lot of tech, I would say, and then data centers as well.
Yeah.
And then like I said, the life science biotech.
Talk about the gravity of the cultural shift, because I was talking with a colleague about this the other day, and we were reminiscing about the old days in the market when NASDAQ was viewed as like the pink sheets, and then the tech surge came in. If you go back to the late 80s and early 90s, and that led into the dot-com bubble, the NASDAQ was basically like an over-the-counter market, okay? Right. NYSE is a little bit more higher end. Now NYSE is obviously prestigious with the institution here, Center of Capitalism. NASDAQ has become NASDAQ, and then now the SPAC activity, it feels like new vehicles are emerging. It feels like the stain of the SPAC. That's my words. I mean, people tend to look at SPACs like, okay, it's a lot of drinking from the trough from an investor perspective. Awkward, maybe in the old days, not old days, but a couple of years ago when SPACs were happening, it felt a little bit kind of not fit, but more and more SPAC activities happening.
Right.
Why is that? And I bring up the old NASDAQ because as electronic trading comes in, as we see more digital converges, AI, physical AI, for instance, exchanges, we got bells that open and close here, but the market's never closed. It's always on. And so we're almost in like another kind of reset. I think SPACs kind of point to a viable vehicle. Can you share your thoughts on this? Because I think people will knee-jerk react, oh, SPACs, the SPAC king, he made a lot of money and investors got left holding the bag. What's the pros and cons of SPACs right now?
So just to kind of give you context, I mean, SPACs were, in existence from even 2000s, early 2000s, right? But they became more popular during COVID time. So when that happened, I was obviously I probably worked on more than, I would say, 70 SPACs in my career. So the SPAC, when they became popular, a lot of investors' money was going on, but the deals that were getting completed were not really being looked at carefully, right? There were a lot of these companies that were going public that were not supposed to be public, right? So they were going through first-time audit, and then it was just the easiest path to go public. And then we saw, a lot of failures as well, and then some were good. And then all of a sudden, there was a shift in, like, I would say earlier this year, in the SPAC market again, where now the sponsors that were coming in, they are looking at better deals with proper forecasts, companies that have some existing financials, and it's not just first year of operations and they're going public, right? So there's more.
So it wasn't a funding vehicle per se. It was really like a legitimate, fast path. It's like TSA clear. I want to go public fast.
Exactly.
It's like you go in.
So traditional IPO has been, where you gotta actually show the market, show the investors that you're actually worth to go public, right? You want to make sure you have your valuation, proper valuation. But the way to go public through SPAC was used based on forecast, right? You can kind of look at your current numbers and say the valuation looks like this, now we should be public. But traditional is different and it's more rigorous process. The preparation side, from an accounting point of view, is the same. So for both, whether it's traditional or whether it's to go through SPAC transaction. But just what the outcome is.
What's the reason SPACs are popular? Is it faster? Is it just more?
It's just faster to raise money. So, it's faster for sponsors to raise money. They can raise $100 million, $200 million, $300 million back. And it just becomes, all they got to do is get the company through the PCAOB audit and get board approval to get the merger done.
What's your view of the IPO window? We've been commenting, obviously it's been hot, it's now open. We see a pipeline for Q1 2026. That's the vibe. I don't have any data, just kind of can sense from the hallway conversations here and in Silicon Valley. It feels like people are gearing up to go public, but yet Databricks stays private. You got this robust kind of really later stage, pre-IPO, private market that have some significant valuations.
Right.
You look at OpenAI and these guys are all looking massive numbers. I mean, they should be public.
Right.
So you kind of have a quasi market right there. What's your view of this state of the union on IPOs?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like in our capital market space, we have always been saying, even last year we said, because the IPO market is going to open up. Last year in Q3, Q4 didn't happen, and then in this year we're kind of expecting Q2 to open up. Now we did see a lot more deals, even on the crypto side. I think the market is becoming more and more favorable right now, and by Q1 of 26 and Q2, I think it should be, it should become more robust. I would say that the market is headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
To say that. So hopefully, we'll see kind of more activities.
Well,
happen.
behind us, the option market is actively trading here. It's where they actually do outcry and active trading, and the more electronic on the NYSE side, Dow. The AMD, OpenAI deal, it's got everyone, it's all over the tape, NVIDIA, AMD.
Right.
We got the AI Factory series we're doing. Just so much action.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on in Silicon Valley right now in your mind? As you talk to people, you're out and about, you got a community that's growing. Give us an update.
Silicon Valley is buzzing right now, right? It's a place to be for a lot of the, not even talking about the late stage companies, but a lot of the new ventures. There's just so much happening in Silicon Valley, and the product that comes out of there, as you can see the results, right? Yeah. A lot of the big companies have their headquarters in Silicon Valley. So right now we're seeing, as I speak with VCs and a lot of investors, they're looking for deals in the AI space, in the technology space, in deep tech, right, in data centers. So these are some of the chosen industries that VCs are willing to kind of put money down without doing a lot of homework. And then, like you were mentioning before, why do OpenAI should be public? But you can also argue, do they really need to be public? They have so much cash, right? So a lot of companies go public so they can raise some capital, liquidity, or, but a lot of these companies are cash rich now.
Yeah.
So I think
they could share the opportunity with the retail investor. I think you see the thirst. Figma, when Figma went public, and that's really not an AI company, but it was really more of a successful company. Just the demand for the retail side is booming. So I think that is a huge factor. There's
a lot of pros for going public, right? I think it also gives you, like you said, the retail access. It gives you access for, it also kind of shows to your customers and to your vendors. It just gives more validity for companies that are public. So definitely I'm all for public, and it's a great way to make the transaction happen.
One of the things that we did in Maui with ACTAI Global, you were a part of that program, and it's what I really like about the market. There's a mission vibe. It's not like, pie in the sky, hey, save the earth. There's a lot of that, but it's really more of like this actually intentional mindsets around these entrepreneurs that are coming in that see the social change. And I keep bringing this up. I was just having a conversation with an entrepreneur here in New York, very successful billionaire entrepreneur, and the view is from the experts is that AI and the road to superintelligence is a huge accelerator, and the smartest people that I know are all over this, and they're either coming out of retirement if they're older. If they're younger, they just got, their eyes are like lighting up. They're seeing massive opportunities. And the fact that it's happening so fast, like literally the transformation, disruption for anyone who's got an incumbent position in the market is at risk. Now, the good news is if you're an incumbent, it's not like the old computer days where it's like it's slow to move. You could actually, they could pivot too, or not pivot, or transition.
Right.
And it's a market of transition. So, a lot going on there. How does your firm engage with that trend? Because you guys are on the capital side. Talk about what you guys do. Put a plug in for the company because capital formation, capital markets, it's nuanced, but it's also booming. It's changing too.
Right.
What do you guys do? How do people engage? And put a plug in.
Yeah, so, CohnReznick, it's a full cycle accounting firm, right? So we do audit, tax, valuation, advisory. So I'm part of the CFO advisory practice, which is within CFO advisory, I do capital markets and IPOs. So my goal is to kind of shift where the the market and is trending. So over the years, I've seen a lot of change and shift, right? So whether it's it used to be a lot of just pure tech companies. Now it's kind of AI company. Right, and then also the sponsorship, right, the investment capital. We were seeing before a lot of private equity kind of in the space, and we still see private equity in the space. But now you see a lot of these traditional VCs kind of coming in, and and you see a lot of, I would say there's a lot faster road to even raising capital now, right? So you see Series A, B, C, T, all are happening within the same year. Like you have companies that raise couple of rounds within the same year. So you see that capital transformation happening, and you're also looking at investors. They want to exit, right? So they want to exit with something good. So I think so our part at CohnReznick is to kind of adapt to the different shifts, make sure that we're aligning with what the market is looking for, and we're kind of staying also up to date with the AI, right? Because AI is really trending. So not only AI companies are going up, but accounting firms are trying to adopt AI as well as fast as we can.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I'd love to get your thoughts on since you're here is one observation we have here on theCUBE is a lot of companies we see hitting escape velocity fast. And it's not on their bingo card to be calling up and getting pre-IPO advice. But this M&A activity, there's a lot of things that are involved, and if you had the traditional cadence of an IPO, you go to Series A, B, C, or whatever, later round funding, and then the board will say, hey, we should bring in CohnReznick or advisory to prepare or do a readiness, whatever they call it. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on in the prep, the sales process, or not sales process, the alignment.
Yes.
A lot of people, especially on the crypto side, they're unprepared.
Right.
It's like thrust upon them
that
they're IPO ready and they don't even know it.
Right.
So what does that have to do with their roles with you? How do you solve that problem? Is there a fast path? We're seeing a lot more companies be IPO ready. Certainly, whether it's on product-led growth, they might not have monster revenue, but they'll have dots that can connect in the public markets or later stage.
Yeah. So I mean, there's two ways to look at public company ready. First is whether they have the revenue, the valuation to be public, right? The second is the operational part. That's where we come in. So when we say, where I kind of preach our clients and prospects are, you need to start preparing 12 to 18 months ahead of going public. Now the difference between SPACs and traditional IPOs actually start preparing 12 to 18 months before, but the companies that were merging with the SPAC, they want to go public tomorrow.
Yeah.
But they're not ready. And one of the big roadblock for target companies going public through SPAC is to go through the PCAOB audit and get that done, and they want to do it in 6 months, right? So we kind of still say you don't want to speed up the process and then have issues that lead to restatements as well in terms of financials. So we kind of advise to our customers, let's start the process 12 months in advance, and it's not only the accounting side. If you look at companies who want to go public, they also have to look at the other aspects, cybersecurity, tax, right, HR, just having a good board. So it's a lot of differences, 360 degrees that you need to take a look at to make sure the company is ready, whether they have investor relations.
Do you find that the entrepreneurial teams that aren't ready, not ready, let me rephrase. I hear entrepreneurs saying, yeah, I'll get to that later. And they kick the can down the road, so to speak.
Right.
Or they go, well, all my time's being spent in these audits. it's perception. It's just
Right.
commentary. It's not really. I don't have a lot of data other than conversations. But that mindset of, is the juice worth the squeeze? Because there's uncertainty around
Right.
the SPACs and going public.
Right.
Certainty in 18 months is a monster time frame. It's like
Yeah.
shit can change really fast.
Right.
Really fast.
Right.
So that's always an entrepreneurial concern. How do you guys handle that objection? What's the answer to that?
Yeah. So
You guys are turnkeys, less
Yeah, yeah.
disruptive.
I mean, having gone through this process numerous times, we kind of know what the roadblocks are to kind of help a company going public. But one of the main roadblock that's not in our control, if the company's just general book, accounting records are not clean, right? So that's the first roadblock. So we kind of let them know that this is going to take some time. But we do have a solution around it too. So we have, a big team who are kind of expert in this, and we can put up a big army of people and make sure that if it requires 10 to 15 people to kind of work on the project to make sure we can get their basic accounting records straight. We work with the auditors and fill the requirements. Then it becomes, because we also work with a lot of the audit firms, so we know what they're looking for as well. So it becomes a more efficient process, right? Because there's a lot of new players on the block which they don't have a lot of experience working with audit firms, and then it creates a lot of inefficiencies.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to our prospects and clients, is that we not only have a lot of experience, we can get it done, and we know how to work with the other side, which is the audit.
All right, final question. Prediction, capital markets, stays open, things are good. What's your prediction? How do you feel?
Yeah.
The vibe, you got the ear to the ground, read the tea leaves.
All right.
What's we can see an AMD all over the tape, NVIDIA, Tesla. We're in a tech boom right now, big time.
I think this is, to be candid and to be frank, this is exciting times for the capital markets. I think it's only going up. So I'm really optimistic and really excited about where we're heading, and I think it's just going to get better, and we're not going to go down. So hopefully the next, I would say 12 months would be really good for the capital markets.
Well, I'm super excited to have you on. Of course, great to have a great event with Bill Tai and the ACTAI Global and the NYC Wired and the Cube partnership of bringing a trust network together. The velocity of communications and trust, I mean, credibility, trust, and high quality people really making this market run. Thanks for being part of it.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thank you for Bill for having me part of Bill.
All right.
ACTAI.
I'm John Furrier here in our New York Stock Exchange Cube studios, part of the NYC Wired program and community. Thanks for watching.